How's it going, everyone? Day 6 of getting uncomfortable, posting. Kind of fell off a little bit on my OMAD today. It was been feeling really low the last couple days. I guess this is part of the process, but I'm not going to sweat it. I went to the butcher to pick up some meats, and I just didn't hold off. Whether I could or I couldn't, I didn't. So I had a little carb prosciutto and like a spicy like pork jerky stick, a couple of those. It was good. I was happy to have done it. Came home, took a long nap, then I took another nap, and I think I'm fighting some sort of nasal congestion / sinus infection or something. It kind of sucks. I was using the Navage. It's a product that is advertised relentlessly, where it basically is like a neti pot, but this one kind of forces the water through, the salt water through, and then comes out the other side, and it's supposed to be great, but I'm pretty blocked up, and it didn't work very well for me. So it was kind of gross having this salt water get pushed out the back of my throat and kind of choking on it a little bit, but whatever. I'm being raised Catholic. You just sort of build it in that everything that sucks is your own fault, and you deserve it. So it's sort of like a little bit of a punishment or penalty. So I'm not a practicing Catholic anymore. I think being raised in Catholic school, father was military reservist, and but also self-employed. And basically I just had issues with authority. As I've read over the years, apparently when you physically discipline a child, they become desensitized to it and become much higher risk takers, and are like, some kids get broken into submission and others just fight against it. It really just taught me to act one way in front of the people that that were in control of me at the time, and then once I wasn't under their thumb, I did exactly what I wanted, and generally the opposite, and started living multiple lives, so I could always function in those areas, and then I could cut loose and be extra wild outside of there. So anyway, that's part of my flavorful history. So coming into week 2, I am preparing to make some changes. Week 1 was going to be OMAD, which for the most part I've completed. No carbs except for in a little bit of raw milk. And I just picked up a book called The Phoenix Protocol. I follow this guy Mark Bell. He made the slingshot, which is like a bench press assisting thing, and he has had some really good t-shirts for World Carnivore Month, and he has started a supplement line of pretty clean protein powders that put in desiccated liver, heart, kidneys, and things like that for, a more rounded micronutrient profile. So he was talking about dry fasting, and I've experimented with dry fasting before. That's where you're fasting for everything, no water and no food. This book, The Phoenix Protocol, seems to be on a 7-day protocol, which feels a little crazy, but crazy is where some of the good stuff happens sometimes. In my experience, I've really only done about, give or take sleep. It depends how you do your fasting. If you stop having something at 10 o'clock at night and go to sleep, like technically that's when it starts. But if you really think about it, your body hasn't created or had any thirst or digested the food that you're having until the next morning. So maybe the clock should start then, but I mean, who really cares? This is just for what makes you feel better about yourself or lets you feel like, if you're breaking the measuring stick out, that you got a little extra and things like that. And this stuff is hard, so I don't want to take away from anyone that's doing these things. But, if you've still got pizza grease on your mouth and you say, well, this fast begins now, you're hardly in any level of struggle. So, a lot of this has to do with autophagy. That's where your body, when it doesn't have outside food sources, it turns to crappy inside food sources and eats your garbage parts for the most part. This is also going to move the needle on the scale by quite a bit. According to this book, the first 48 hours is really just water weight. And then after that, when you've run out of water, your body then will turn to the fat cells to create your own water. And, that's why you'll keep peeing. You'll get things that you need out of the triglycerides. You'll get things you need for brain function. And your body is going to protect your skeletal muscle and your heart muscle. And, use the crappy misaligned proteins and things like that. Hopefully cancer cells, hopefully skin cells, because from being pretty obese through most of my life, I have some extra skin. And last year I had lost some weight, getting down to my lowest. I went from about 198 pounds down to 177. And it messed with me so much because I had this extra skin around my midsection. And unfortunately, like most diets, you wind up giving it all back. And here I am a year later at 210 pounds, trying to lose the same weight over and over again. But if this is something that can actually make a dent into some of this loose skin, the amount of people that would find this really helpful is significant. Postpartum women, post-obese women, men, everybody is so fat these days that there's a lot of extra skin around. And I've done plenty of water fasting. And according to this book, that actually perpetuates feeding bad things in your body like viruses and parasites, and tells your body to actually break down some of your muscle to feed yourself. So it's definitely something that I'm going to explore. I don't think I'm going to be jumping in on a 7-day, but I think a 24 to 36 hour fast, dry fast is definitely doable. I've definitely done it before, and we'll see in short order if the face and the neck leans out, if my, little bit of pec extra goes away and flattens out, and things like that. So, yeah. Well, tomorrow's going to be a fairly normal day, my last day of OMAD, and it's like, weekends becoming tougher to stay steady, not having the distractions of work and stuff like that. So, my wife is also leaving on Monday. She's traveling for a week, so it'll be me, my mother-in-law, and the 3 kids at 5, 2.5, and 5 months old. So no stress there. But it'll be fine because it has to be fine. So, all right. Probably going to overheat here real soon. So have a good night.